Wow, I'm so excited to have 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. From various projects over the years, I've acquired all kinds of cool equipment, and let me walk you through it. This is my top secret laboratory reveal. So I do a bunch of random stuff, and I've accumulated some random equipment over the years for my projects. And in today's top secret laboratory reveal, I'll show you most of the cool stuff that I have, and you can get a feel for what I'm working with. This is my 3D printer. It's about 8 inches by 8 inches of printable space. I have an enclosure around it because I print almost exclusively in ABS. I have a Raspberry Pi that's running Octoprint, and it also uses Octolapse, so I can record decent looking time lapses for you when I print stuff. This is my 2.5 watt CNC laser. You've seen it when I made the stencils for the logos behind me in most of my videos. And I also used it when I made a circuit board for the AutoPay reminder box. This abomination of a CNC router was my first attempt at building a routing table. It has a 6 foot by 6 foot movable area, and it's totally underpowered, extremely flimsy, but it is fairly accurate as long as you're not doing any pressure. I've used it to carve some molds into wax. I used it in the AutoPay reminder box video to drill the holes in the circuit board. While it does work, it's not rigid enough to carve anything that's more difficult than wax. This very old computer is what I use to send G-code to the CNC Laser and the CNC Router. I have a variety of chemicals such as 2-part epoxy and 2-part silicone. I have a vacuum chamber and a vacuum pump when I need to take the air out of something for a project. I have the cheapest drill press that you can buy that will drill a decent hole. This is my electronics bench where I have all my little components and I do some soldering and other testing. I have about the cheapest wire feed welder you can get. They make cheaper ones now, but back in the day, this was as good as you could get for about $250. I have a very simple air compressor, which I've occasionally tried to use on different projects. Nothing for the YouTube videos yet, but I'm sure we're going to see it in use in the future. This is one of my most important pieces of equipment. This is a full-size coffee grinder like you would see at a grocery store. When I buy bags of coffee at the store, I can grind the entire bag all at once here at home. Coffee is life, after all. This is my main computer, where I do all the design and coding for all my projects. I spend most of my time sitting at this desk. 2 of these screens are 4K resolution, so I have a lot of digital real estate. This is Nephili 0. This was a proof of concept version of the Nephili robot that we're building now. I took an old MSI Chromebook apart and reassembled it onto this really terrible framework. Just a proof of concept that we could have a voice-activated talking robot that could roll around and had access to the internet. This is Nephili 1, the successor to Nephili 0. The purpose of Nephili 1 was to take ownership of the electronics of the Nephili project. So whereas Nephili 0 was just a disassembled Chromebook with a few USB devices attached to it, Nephili 1 has a full suite of independent electronics components. And most important in all my projects is all the space that I have around my house where I can think about how I'm going to design things. Most of the design happens before I ever touch the computer or touch the machinery or try to build anything. The design all happens up in my imagination first. The next project should be pretty exciting. I'll be building an all-steel CNC router. This should be a welcome addition to my equipment and also replace that enormous table that takes up so much space in the workshop downstairs. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you again for subscribing to my channel. I'm Josh Whitman with Whitman Technological. I love science and I hope you do too.